every day. Let's put your business on display. Network, let's heal and pray. It's our love, we here to stay. Trust in God, he'll lead the way. We on right now, no need to wait. Let's go. It's Nisha's Network, yeah, yeah. It's all about connecting, yeah, let's go.
Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. We're having camera adjustments. So we're going to just ask Connie to turn her camera a little
Which
bit.
way? Yep.
That's good.
Is
Okay.
that good? Okay, now I can see everybody.
Well, good morning, everyone. I am here, Nisha here again, celebrating women in history through recovery. A lot of times we celebrate women that have passed on, that have done amazing things. But this month, because it's Women's History Month, we decided to go ahead and share the gift of those that are living legacies that have walked journeys of recovery and still walking through it and doing amazing things. And I am privileged to have some amazing guests here today, none other than Miss Angela McClellan, who is a program director of RCCJ. We'll talk about what RCCJ is in a minute. None other than Connie DeWall, who is a program manager, and also Heather Drew, who is the executive director. And so we're just going to dive into some really good conversation, everyone, in regards to recovery. Okay. There is a gift of the Recovery Community Center of Joliet, Illinois, that is open and is doing some really pretty amazing things. So if you're watching right now, this will be a great opportunity to share the information and also take notes. Okay, we're gonna just dive in. So I'm gonna do some introductions from the ladies. So Connie, go ahead and introduce yourself to our listening guests.
So, good morning. I'm having technical difficulties, so I'm on my phone today, but I'm at work. So, my name's Connie DeWall. I'm the program manager here at the Will County Health Department in our Will County Substance Use Initiatives program, where we do Narcan distribution and education. We have peer support. We have a behavioral health department that has substance use and mental health for adults and children, and also a proud member and board member of the Recovery Community Center of Joliet. And I'm an alcoholic and a drug addict. So how about that? All in a mom, and I got a lot going on in my life, but I'm in recovery and I'm grateful to be here and grateful to be sober.
Thank you so much, Connie. We're gonna toss the microphone over to Miss Angela.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Angela McClellan. I'm the program director for the RCCJ, which we provide peer support, job resource, computer lab, community showers, and support groups. And I am in recovery, and I'm a recovering addict of 5.5 years clean and sober.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Angela, and none other than Miss Heather Drew.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Heather Drew. I am the executive director of the Recovery Community Center of Joliet, and I have been out in the Joliet recovery community for about 12 years now, running and managing sober living homes and in recovery as well myself. And this year I was given the opportunity to be the executive director of this amazing recovery community center. And it just kind of ties together everything I've been working on and giving back to the community. Mom as well with 2 kids. My fiance has 2 boys, so 4 boys running around like crazy, managing life, recovery, and all of that good stuff. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Now, I want to go back to the comment that Connie made when she said, I am an alcoholic and I am in recovery. So let's just talk about that because a lot of people think that just a statement that you said, I am an alcoholic, right? You didn't say, I am a recovering alcoholic. You did say I'm in recovery, but I think that just in general, anyone can answer this. Why do you say I am?
Well, it doesn't identify, it's part of me. And I have to remember, I wake up every day with untreated alcoholism. So I have to get my medicine in one way where I choose 12 steps. So I choose Alcoholics Anonymous to help me with my recovery journey. If I say I'm recovered, then for me it's over. Like my decision making will get skewed. So I just have to, for me personally, and I know language has been, I have substance use disorder. I know language is stigmatizing sometimes, and I understand that, but I can't minimize my addiction. And when I start minimizing it and not identifying it the way I choose to, I'll forget where I came from. And so that's why I'm in recovery, most definitely. I am an alcoholic. I've misused drugs before. Um, but like I said, every morning I wake up with it's untreated. So I have to pray. I have to remind myself that I haven't gotten out of bed. I have to go to my meeting in the morning. Because if I don't do that, people better run because my attitude is not that great, and I'm not right with God yet. I'm not right in my recovery. So that's for me, that's how a part of my identity. It's not all of it,
Right.
but I have to remind myself of who I am every day. And that's part of it, that's part of it.
That's so amazing. Thank you for sharing that, because a lot of people do get caught up in the pride of what they're doing. And then that's why I think that from my experience of family member and friends, that's why we're so quick to fall right back into the trap of whatever we're trying to be free from, because we won't own the fact that we are every day is a recovery day, right?
Yeah.
Angela, Heather, you all want to answer that question?
Oh, Angela,
Go ahead.
okay.
Okay.
I view it similar as Connie. The first thing she said, that every day I wake up with untreated alcoholism, I'm a firm believer in that, and that we can't rest on our laurels. When it comes to the recovering versus recovered topic, I think it could be a huge debate, because the big book in the beginning, the book of Alcoholics Anonymous in the beginning says, this is how thousands of men and women have recovered from alcoholism. So I do feel like I could have recovered from my active alcoholism for the day, but again, the next day, then I have to do something about it. It's an everyday thing. It's not just a one-time deal and here you are, you're recovered. It's an active program that needs to stay active, because me, very much so like Connie, like, yes, if I don't do anything and I don't connect with God and I don't do some daily readings and I don't give back to others and I don't go to meetings, like, I'm not going to go straight to drinking, but you're going to tell, because my attitude is going to be very poor. I'm going to be irritable. And it's going to be, I'm going to be terrible to be around. And if I continue that path, then who knows what that leads to. But I surround myself with a lot of strong, powerful women that can call me out on that. And like,
Okay.
what are you doing?
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Angela?
Okay, for me, just like in step one, admittance is the biggest part, right? And so when we are attending support groups, because the program of recovery, it embraces a lot of different avenues. You have AA, you have NA, you have HA, you have CA. But step one is in general across all boards, right? And so the admittance, that's why when you attend support groups, you hear people say, hello, my name is so-and-so, and I'm this. Because even for me and my personal history, the admittance had to come first. And as a person that, played professional basketball, went to college, admitting that I was an addict was difficult for me. So it took me 28 years to get 5 years and 6 months. So because at this particular time, I was able to admit, I was able to attend meetings, say my name, say what it is that I was struggling with, and then start the process. So the admittance has to come first. So that's why I think that it's so important that we identify with what we are up against, whatever that may be. The admittance has to come first that we have a problem and our life had become unmanageable at some point. So when I wonder why I had constant run-in with the police, constant trips back and forth to treatment. The admittance had to come first. So
That's good. That's good. Well, thank you all so much for being transparent and sharing your journey. I think one of the things that it comes to mind is the stigma. I want to talk about that a little bit because there are so many people. I just made this phrase yesterday. I said this phrase that I've heard so many times: not in my backyard, or not in my family, or not in my church, or not in my. And I think that I don't really know the history of where you all first were introduced to, um, the areas of substance. But what I will say is that prevention is so huge for me. But I feel like prevention can't take place if the stigma of not talking about it never comes to play, right? So I want to ask you all, what do you have to say in regards to the stigmas that are basically introduced in so many spaces of communities where people won't get the help, or they are like what's the word, I what is it,
Ostracized.
ostracizing people because they're walking through levels of recovery? Anyone can answer. Is that a tongue twister? Stigma.
No,
I think you go on, Connie.
no, go ahead, Angela.
Yeah. Um, we talk about the stigma all the time, right? And so it's used almost as a barrier, right?
Hmm.
It cuts off communication, it cuts off understanding, it cuts off empathy for others that are currently experiencing any kind of addiction. And so, once again, in terms of educating, acknowledging, because we saw when we were doing a lot of work in the community with Narcan, the stigma on the high school level of parents that didn't think that their children were using drugs in the bathroom at the schools, even after multiple reports, right? Um, After multiple
Pause for
trips
one
to the
second, Angela. I'm gonna pause you for a second because I want to say identify using drugs, because in today's time, drugs is not really considered a lot
substances.
of things. So what would you say is considered drugs?
So any mind mood altering substance, right,
Yes.
is considered. So that could be alcohol, that could be marijuana, that could be pills, that could be hard street drugs, any mind mood altering substance.
Okay, I
So
just wanted you to
this,
make that clear because a lot
yes,
of people
yes,
say, "Oh, I'm not doing drugs," but
absolutely,
they're smoking marijuana or they're drinking. And shout out to Hero that gives us all the stuff that helps us to understand
yes, yes,
what's the
yes.
hidden agenda. But I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, so even with that, the education is important. And so this is how you open up the lines of communication for better understanding. And that happens when you ask those hard questions. You ask those intimate questions, and we can't shy away from having those conversations. And I brought up the schools because like Connie knows too, we had such a hard time, just getting parents to understand that that is a possibility. Don't turn a blind eye to the fact that your kid may be one of those kids in the bathroom smoking a vape pen.
Hmm. Hmm.
Understand that, embrace that. And then once again, the acknowledgement of it gives you a better path forward. Don't just say, well, that's not my kid. And your kid is one of the main ones that's in there. So again, the stigma, the understanding, the education, that's pretty much what you're up against. So
Yeah, that's so good.
I think so we were just starting to be able to do some information and education in schools like about a year and a half ago, and then the state finally recognized last year that Narcan should be in every school, not just in the nurse's office. So it gave us a lead in to go in and talk. So I had gone to a parent group in Plainfield, had a open discussion one night, and we were talking, and there were quite a few parents there. Some of the kids were there, but I had said, I had to remember. I said, when I was, my kids are all adults now. They witnessed their mom, in her addiction for 6 years. And when I got in recovery, I had conversations with them about, you know, everything from, you know, predisposition to just open conversations. And, you know, nothing was just like, I would hear parents say, well, they're just smoking marijuana. It's not just marijuana. It's not marijuana like it was when I was in high school, which is 40 years ago. We're talking 40. That was an eye opener for me. And I went back to parents and I said, remember, you were in high school and you were in the bathroom and I had to remember I'm not innocent. And so I had those conversations with my kids. Like, you know, when I told my son I had gone to an AC/DC concert when I was in high school, he's like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, I was a teenager, you know, I was a teenager at one time. And I'm not saying I know things, but my dad always would say, you know, things were different when I was growing up. And it's like, things were different when I was growing up. And things are, for me, I think the kids experiencing with social media and everything going on, it's 20 times worse for them. And to be honest with them and have conversations with them and say it's not okay. And then bring the legality into it. You're not 21. And this is X, Y, and Z that's going to happen if you make a decision to drink when you're not 21 or do weed when you're not 21. Like these are the consequences that go with every action, good consequences and bad consequences. And you know, just I guess for me as a parent, I needed to remember where I came from to be able to give my kids the right conversation.
That's good. That's so good. Heather?
And I think, you know, the saddest part for me about stigma is that I feel like a lot of people don't understand it until they experience it. And that is what removes the stigma then. Because in doing Narcan and rapid response in the communities, I talk to so many parents and they're uneducated. And that's really the biggest reason why I feel like there is a stigma is people are uneducated. And I will say there is a small percentage of people that actually want to be educated because they do have that mentality that like, not me, not my kids, not my neighborhood. And it's so hard to not, you know, really be completely honest without being, you know, I don't know the correct word, but, you know, people get like offended that you're offering them a life-saving device that could be used for their child because they do have that mentality. And so I think the education on addiction and drug use today, especially with all of the fentanyl and all of these other synthetic drugs that are highly deadly, and it's terrible that parents need to be more educated so we can remove that stigma so that more people can have the tools to save lives.
That's so good. Thank you all so much. I'm thinking about prevention. Okay. So at what age do you feel like, and I love that you said, Connie, you know, sharing with your children your story, because hopefully that will help them. And they shouldn't be like, well, mom, you did it. You know what I mean? Nothing like that.
No.
But to speak to the fact that what age, and I know that a lot of the people that are connected with the ROS, the Recovery Oriented Systems of Care, are going into the schools at junior high. But what age do you feel like the conversations need to be had in regards to prevention? Like what age group do you think?
Well, I can say that my two boys are 4th and 5th grade, and I've already started having the conversations with them. But they're very aware of what I do. They've been around sober living, recovery their whole lives. This is all they know is recovery, people in recovery. I take them to all the events that we do. They're very familiar with it and educated. They know Narcan. When I first started doing it, I was very hesitant to tell them about it and what it was. It was just, oh, this is a medication for people that need it. But this year, actually within the past couple months, is when I've started kind of educating them. Really, the biggest education I've been giving them is don't take pills or unopened candy from anybody. People, when you go to a friend's house, don't pick things up, don't try things, don't take things off the bus. From a kid at school, and let them know, like I've shown them pictures of real candy versus fake pills or fake candy, real pills versus fake pills. And just so I'm not trying to make them so fearful, but just so they know, like, you do have to be aware today. You can't just be taking everything and anything. And they've been really receptive to it and have asked questions. So maybe some people might think fourth and fifth grade is too early, but they already know. They see it. I'm around it. I talk about helping people in recovery, and, I want them to know.
Yes, yes. Thank you for sharing that. I just want to make sure that people know that no one is exempt. You all know my journey in terms of lived experience through family and friends, and just mainly family, basically, because it starts with the mind and the why. I believe that, and a lot of people don't see the correlation to mental health and substance use, but they really do go hand in hand. But I won't go there because I really want to talk about the RCCJ in our last few minutes together. I want to talk about the Recovery Community Center of Joliet. And I recall meeting Connie and Heather. I was sitting in Home Depot. I will never forget this. Dr. Kathleen Burke, shout out to her. She introduced me to you guys, and we were on the phone together, three-way. And I was sitting there, and I learned about the passion that you all had to find people to have a space where people in recovery can come. And so, praise be unto God that you all have this space and it's up and running. So let's talk about a little bit about what it does and the reason you feel like it's so effective in the community.
Angela.
Let me come off of you. I think since we opened the doors in November, I think the
November 2020,
impact,
right? November 2024.
yes, November 2024. Not to mention it had been years in the work, right? And so, personally, for me, putting it together and setting up the programs and actually seeing the impact that it's having, sometimes it's overwhelming, right? And I shared with Connie and Heather and them about how much the community showers, just something in being able to come and take a shower, has impacted the community. And, things that we take for granted, something as small as being able to put on a pair of clean socks. And so when we initially implemented the community showers, it was supposed to have been once a week at a certain time frame, from 11 to 4 on Wednesdays. But the impact has affected the RCCJ that people come in almost every day.
Wow.
So who are we to say, even though we have that time allocated specifically for those showers, if someone walks in on Thursday at 2:00 and they're like, hey, Miss Angela, I really need a shower, who am I to say, no, you got to come back Wednesday at this time and so even with that, it has been so eye-opening and so fulfilling to be able to just extend that kind of thing that we take for granted to someone. And then the job computer lab, the resource lab, we've had several members get good jobs, right? Some through temp agencies, some through just filling out applications and being diligent and being able to check their emails on the computer. Another thing that we probably take for granted, just being able to access an email, right? Create an email, create a resume, right? Because when you're in recovery and you've spent years on the street, you've lost a lot of things, whether it be your social security card, your ID, everything, your humanity, everything. And so when you start the road to recovery, some of those things you're trying to rehab the wreckage of your past. So you're trying to recoup some of those things. And just the RCCJ being there and
Yeah.
saying, okay, we'll help you get this. We'll show you where to get that. We'll direct you over here to where you can get this, because we're not the end all be all. But our relationships with other organizations in the community that have been long standing and doing some of the other work, that's why our relationships with those organizations are important. Because I know if I say someone comes in and they need a voucher for their ID, I know that I can get on the phone and call Miss Linda over at the Salvation Army. Hey, Miss Linda, I'm sending this guy over there. He needs his ID. She, no problem. Send him on over.
That's so
And
awesome.
that's the importance of the relationships. And so that's what we've been building since November. And I think that it has been very impactful to the community.
That's so
Nisha,
awesome. Yes.
Can I add one thing real quick? Because to add on to that real quick, and then if Heather has anything to close out with. But last week, harm reduction is a big conversation, right? And harm reduction is Narcan. There was grant funding for opioid prevention sites. Harm reduction for us is just what Angela talked about. Harm reduction equals positive change.
Mm.
Someone goes in and has a shower, that's a positive change. If someone goes in there and uses the computer lab or gets their ID, that's a positive change. So that for me is our way leading into harm reduction. So I just wanted to add that in.
That is so good. So good. Heather, you want to add something?
Yes, I would. And to speak on Angela, talking about how our other relationships with organizations is huge. It really is. I think what kind of sets us apart is that we don't just hand out resources. It's not just here, call this number, here, go to this website. I mean, we will physically sit with somebody, make the calls for them,
Yes.
or sit next to them while they make the calls and wait for transportation, or people from our board have come and volunteered to transport people, whether it's detox treatment, a domestic violence shelter, the living room. We get people to where they need to go if we can't directly help them. It's not just, here's a piece of paper, go on your way and figure it out. And we check in with
hands off. It's a
right.
Hands off. Yes.
And so we make sure that if we can't help you, or if you need more help, that we get you there. We sit down. Angela takes so much time with everybody that comes in that door to figure out, yeah, you need a shower, but what else is going on? To really get into where else can we be of service? The shower is a great start, and it gets them to continue to come back in the door so that we can just little by little get to know and build that trust and relationship with people in the community.
That's so good. I am no stranger to RCOs because I have been surrounded by Pacific Art Mission growing up in the south side of Chicago in Cook County. And of course, Cook County has so many resources, right? But just to say there are so many areas, and as you all were talking, because I've been making my boots on the ground, my heart goes out to the communities that don't have a RCO, that don't have a community center. I told someone if I was a millionaire, I'd put one everywhere. You know what I mean? Because people don't realize the benefit and the impact, and you changing one person's life will change a generation. You showing love to people and providing them resources will change generations. People don't realize it's not stopping at one person. It's changing legacy. It's changing children's lives and grandchildren's lives because you have a story. So just like you all are women of power and women in history who are making a difference. And I want to say thank you for all you do because it is important. And I know God's smiling on you. I know he's smiling on you for the work that you're doing. And so if people want to reach out to you guys and get more information, if people want to make donations, come on, donations. Okay, that you can go on over to that website and give some donations. Perhaps you are a philanthropist or someone who says, you know what, I believe in this. I walked through this journey. I want to sow into this organization. What would you all tell them besides go to the website and donate?
I mean, come in and connect with us. Angela's there Monday through Friday, 10 to 6. I'm usually there most of the time as well. So just come in and connect. We're always looking to chat, or invite us to your facility. You know, we'd love to see what resources you have to offer as well.
That's so good. That's so good. Well, I know that our time is up, but I just want to say thank you all so much for joining me today. By all means, reach out to these amazing women at www.rccj.org. Go visit the facility in Joliet. It's absolutely beautiful. We're hosting our ROS meetings there every now and then. So we do plan to host one this year at the RCCJ. It is amazing. It's a gift to the community. And by all means, educate yourself. Don't say it's not in your backyard. We are our brother's keeper. Thank you so much, ladies, for today. And we will see you guys soon. Okay. Have a
Thank you.
wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah,